Hi, my name is Quinn Abbott. I am the CCO for this semester's project, and our project is called Rumble on the River. Start out, what's the problem? There's a lack of viewership and overall publicity for the Iowa rowing team at the university. This affects student athletes as well as staff and coaches, and the problem is institutionally rooted. Overall, the University of Iowa's rowing team has a poor standing on campus with a lot of students having negative opinions about them. We can look at this when we look at Yik Yak. Yik Yak is a social media platform where students can anonymously comment about really anything. We can see this with somebody saying finals is hell, but at least I'm not a rower, hashtag F the rowing team. Some more evidence. As far as people that we interviewed, 27 agreed that there's a lack of overall publicity, with 0 saying that they have attended an Iowa regatta. A regatta is just another name for a race. As well as 1 student stating that I just don't like the rowing team, they're useless. As far as secondary sources, rowing is a non-revenue generating sport, with the revenue that they brought in 2026 was about $136,000. The expenses paid out was just over $2 million. As far as customer segments and goals, the people that we want to benefit are the rowers on the team, as well as female student athletes in general. Women's sports is on a rise, but there's a lot more that we can do about it. We want to host a social event. We want there to be athlete-to-athlete bonding, and we just overall want to showcase all their talents and skills.
And the solution we created to this problem is in 2 parts. First, we're hosting an open house tour for athletes from the basketball team, wrestling team, and the track and field athletes on May 6th from 3 to 5:30 p.m. so they can just come in whenever is most convenient for them, so they can be familiar with the rowing atmosphere and actually be able to watch the rowers practice. This will then lead into our big event coming up in September of 2026, shooting for a Saturday morning before a football game, where we will have rowers go against races between the mixed athletes and the other teams. And there will also be tailgating, music, live prizes, and vendors. And then the value of this solution would be that this event would bring awareness and exposure to the U Iowa women's rowing team, which out of our 30 interviews, 26 people specifically said that the U Iowa rowing team deserves more attention, and that an event with competitive analysis between both athletes would bring more attention.
Alright, so next up we have alternative solutions. So the first one is the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, the athletes versus the engineers. And then we also have the Henley Regatta, which is the Kentucky Derby of racing. And then so for our next steps, first up we want to recruit athletes to the different practice events, and then set an event date for our upcoming event, and reach out to some potential sponsors, and then make social media and newsletters, stuff like that.
So just rolling into the expenses here, we decided to run 3 different scenarios: a low attendance scenario, a medium attendance scenario, and a high attendance scenario. As you can tell, the more people that show up, the more costs that are incurred. Our biggest costs are obviously going to be food and drink, along with those fixed costs. While they are fixed costs, they do increase because as the more people attend, the more public space that we'll need to use, and along with that, the more permits that we'll need to use. If you want a more in-depth analysis, I linked the Excel sheet right there. You can just click into that and you'll see where we got all our numbers, how we got all the numbers, and what those numbers are. So just moving on into funding, we plan to have 3 different sources of funding. We have individuals, which are going to be our attendees. We predict that around 5 to 15% of those people will donate money in between $5 to $20. We got that through our interviews. People have said they were willing to spend $5 to $20. Majority of people said it would be on food. However, we do think some people would donate. Now we have our title sponsors. That's going to be high net worth individuals along with companies. Our target is to target around 18 mixed between companies and high net worth individuals. And then as I'll get into the next slide, we ran 3 different models of success rate from those 18, a 25%, a 40%, and a 60%. And we hope that they can pledge each around $500 to $1,000. And then finally, our university, that is direct funding, student programs, along with the women's rowing team's budget. So just going off of what I said in the last 2 slides, Here we have our costs and funding scenarios. Obviously, we have a low, medium, and high. The low, medium, and high is not attendance driven like it is for the cost. It is more that success rate that I mentioned earlier, that 25, that 40, and that 60%. And then financial success. What's needed for success? As of right now, the only profitable scenario that we ran would be that low attendance along with a high success rate of funding. However, there is one thing that we need to remember. Our goal is not necessarily to make money, it's to bring awareness to the rowing team. So even if we lose some money, we can still be successful as long as the rowing team gains more awareness on campus. So just partners, Big Row Brewery, we hope to have them for both food and beverages. As far as getting the athletes involved, we hope to use ISAC to get those athletes from the other sports, such as track. We've had a lot of interest from track athletes, women's and men's wrestling, along with basketball. Also, Dr. Flynn and Coach Garbutt are key partners when it comes to the communication and the planning process. And then finally, our team here, as I'm sure you've seen all of us and will see all of us, there's just a little photograph there. As far as why we are better than all the other teams, we have the sports and recreational management experience, along with journalism, mass communications experience, and on top of it all, we have an All-American women's wrestler to give us that insight to what it's like to be a women's athlete at the University of Iowa.
Up next, how are we going to market our event? So for our in-person event and our preview event, we are going to primarily use social media to drive home our goal and our value. 26 out of 30 of the people we interviewed agreed that an in-person event would attract an audience, as well as 26 out of 30 people agreed that social media would be the best way to reach a large number of people, as well as our target market audience. All right, why are we going to use social media? Number one, it's easy to communicate with potential customers. We can reach a large number of audiences. We can create fun videos, photos, and highlight reels. And the biggest one is it's free. We don't have to spend any of our budget on using social media for marketing. We can also continue market analysis through questionnaires and polls, and we can shout out our partners as well. And then we can tag rowing social media pages to get them more viewership.
Hi, this is our competitive analysis. We compared Rumble on the River to some of the major rowing competitions. We compared it to Henley Regatta, Head of the Charles, and Athletes vs. Engineers. We recorded the participant diversity, location accessibility, publicity, price, and product availability. Rumble on the River stands out because of our price. It is $0 admissions, and it's open to everyone. It's accessible, inclusive, and free competition with high availability. Here is our SWOT and our 4 Ps. For our strengths, we have free entry, high accessibility, and inclusive participation. Some of our weaknesses, we do have low publicity, but with some marketing, I think we could really get it out there. We have limited brand recognition. Some opportunities, we have social media growth. We're working on social media growth, sponsorships, and community partnerships. Some threats, established high prestige events, and competitive marketing budgets. Here are our 4 Ps: product, price, place, promotion. We have inclusive rowing event with high participation. Price is free, and it is accessible and a high traffic location. And our promotion is currently low, but we are working on growing that. And here is our business model campus. Thank you.